What's going on, guys? Welcome back to D-Life HD. This is Victor, and today we're going to be discussing the recently announced and playable demo for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. So without any further delay, let's jump right into it.
Switch it up. Switch it up. I was a worker, had to upgrade to a boss. I had to switch it up. Used to live in the hood, but had to upgrade to a loft. I had to switch it up.
So last week, during the final mini direct partner showcase of this year, Nintendo announced and dropped immediately an Age of Calamity demo. So this is the new game from Nintendo that is going to take place 100 years before the events of Breath of the Wild, for anybody who is uninformed. I did a video discussing it in pretty good detail a couple weeks back, and I'm personally really looking forward to this game. I've never been a huge fan of Hyrule Warriors in general, or just the Warriors games, or anything that team has done before. I've got a chance to play them, but never really gotten into them. I've never actually bought one, but I've known people that have had them, and I've played demos here and there, and gotten to play them multiplayer with friends of mine. But it's never been something that's really interested me. Now, with this one, it takes place during Breath of the Wild and that whole timeline, which I'm very interested in. I love Breath of the Wild as a game. I think it's one of the best Switch games, one of the best games ever made. And so getting to have an expansion of sorts and getting to see this story really unfold from the past that we didn't know is really thrilling to me. Breath of the Wild is full of a lot of ruins and a lot of destruction. It's a very empty feeling game. You're one of the only people you come in contact with outside of the villages. And that's something I've always really liked about it. You know, there's a lot of history, but we never really gotten a chance to know that history, and so that's what this demo is for. And this game is going to fully expand on that, and I really that whole concept really intrigues me. And so now we have a full playable demo, which is actually the beginning of the game. It's the first couple missions, and if you play through the demo and complete it, all of that data that you did from the demo will actually transfer over to the full game when it comes out on November 20th. So this demo has 2 story missions available, 2 side missions available, and then a bunch of like mini quests that you can do here and there. And so my general impressions of the demo itself are really positive. As I said, I've never been a fan of this type of game, but I think part of that has been is surface level. The combat is very repetitive, but if you dig into it and learn kind of the inner workings of how it works, basically with any fighting game, any button masher, there's a lot to be said there. There's a lot to engage with there, and I've never really taken the time to dig deep into it. And now that there's a Dynasty Hyrule Warriors game of something I'm really, really interested in, I've actually taken the time to fully understand the controls and how it works. And I have to say, I'm very, very thrilled with this game, and I will probably end up checking out the older Hyrule Warriors game and really digging into that one now that I have gotten a chance to get past that initial cliff and dig deep into the game itself. Of course, the graphics in this game are completely the same as Breath of the Wild. In fact, they're a little bit upgraded. Breath of the Wild was designed for the Wii U, not the Switch, but this game is kind of being built up with the Switch in mind. And it looks gorgeous, and it's very fluid with Breath of the Wild itself. It feels like it belongs in the same universe and the same timeline, which is amazing. The games feel very connected in that sense. And so we have this prequel game, we have Breath of the Wild, and then we're going to have Breath of the Wild 2, and it's like this epic trilogy, and they all feel very connected. So that's something that the demo has going for it. If you're a fan of Breath of the Wild and you want to know that story, definitely check out this demo. It's something to be enjoyed. And the story itself, seeing these characters that we met in Breath of the Wild 100 years before, is really awesome. But getting to play as Impa, I love her character. This is probably the person I'm going to be playing most. Overall, just this demo is thrilling, and it's like an hour and a half, maybe a little more of gameplay. You know, you get to do the first 2 missions, do a couple side missions, and then they've got all these different kind of mini missions where you get collectibles throughout the main story, and you can go and complete these tasks that way and unlock new things. Like one of the things you can unlock in the demo is a blacksmith who will help upgrade and combine your different swords that you collect along the way. And so having all these things unlock on the map and getting to go to them in between missions is really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that kind of loop is something that I like. That's why I like the Monster Hunter franchise so much. So I think this game has a lot going for it in the style of games that I liked. I just never fully gave it a chance, this kind of game. One thing that the demo does have that's a drawback is it's very framey. I got to try it to multiplayer, which is really cool that it has multiplayer even in the demo. And the split screen, it's very, very framey. It has a lot of dips in the frame count. I think standardly it's running at 30 frames per second, but when you have that split screen, any large amount of enemies on the screen will cause it to dip. Also, the resolution drops a lot when you're doing split screen. Everything looks a little bit blurry. And it's not just with the split screen. There's some frame drops when there's a lot of enemies on screen in the single player mode as well, which is rather disappointing for me. But I hope that they can work out the ins and outs with this game, maybe have a day one patch. If this is kind of how it is when they're dropping it in November, that's okay, as long as they're working on getting that fixed up at a later date with an update. I'm okay with that. It's not a huge deal, but if that's a deal breaker for you, then you might want to check out the demo before you actually purchase this game. In fact, I would encourage everybody to check out this demo before buying the game. This is not a style of game that is for everybody, as I've previously mentioned, and it's something you're going to want to get your hands on and try before you end up making that purchase. But if you like Breath of the Wild and you're not a huge fan of this style of game, I would say give it a chance. That's something that I'm kind of doing right now. And so far, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to the full game coming out on November 20th. Mark your calendars, because it's going to be an awesome day.
Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought. Check the description of this video for a link to our community Discord. We always have good discussion in there. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like these. And lastly, check our Twitter account for more gameplay on latest releases. But most importantly of all, always remember to stay 1-up.